Hare Krishna. In India, we have so many festivals. Every year we start with the New Year celebrations. Then there are Diwali, Navratri, Dasara. There are so many festivals. So what are festivals actually in India, and why they are celebrated with so much of joy and happiness? So what are festivals, and why Indian festivals are very interesting? It's very colorful. We see in every festival, whether it's in the northern part of India, the eastern part of India, western part of India, or any part of India, every festivity you see family, they dressed up traditionally, their food is very traditional, they eat traditional food. So what is festival? Actually in India, agriculture, everything started with agriculture. In forest, people to get some food, the earlier version of man, how they used to eat food? They could take a stone, beat an animal, kill it, and then they eat it. But they say how civilization progressed and a human being became civilized, and the civilization is marked through agriculture. India is a land of agriculture, and in agriculture there is a word culture. So you are growing crops by culturing it. The festivals were interconnected to agriculture. The crops, when they were starting, when they were trying to make a new crop, that was a festival. And at the same time, when you get a crop and you offer to the Lord, there was one more festival. In South India, it is called as Ugadi and Sankranti, Vasant Panchami. Like that, there every festival has a crop festival is there, and this actually becomes a festivity because in the house everything is new, grain is there, so they make special sweets. Even in festivals, whatever they make sweets. In January, there is a festival where they distribute sesame seeds, till seeds, with jaggery. So when they combine that and eat, because of cold and the seasonal changes happening, it helps the body to become more healthier. It balances our kapha, pitta, vayu, like that. So every festival had a different variety sweets. Like we celebrate Janmashtami, lot of milk sweets are there. Same, next Diwali we have one more variety of sweets. During Ganesh festival, there are a lot of modak is made. So like every festival has its own special preparations, and these are all connected to agriculture. Agricultural crop, what season it is happening. Winter means there is a kind of sweets. And during monsoon time, there are different varieties of sweets. So Indian culture, it's very deep meaning in everything what they do. In what they eat during a festival is connected to their health. Nowadays in cities we don't get proper ingredients. The best way of eating our vegetables and fruits now, what are available in the market, is told that we have to wash it by keeping half an hour in some salt or turmeric water or some lemon and some other agents, some chemical agents they are recommending to wash, and only then you can eat. So this is the present modern advancement. In agricultural advancement, people could get fresh crops and there are festivals for it, and after you celebrate a festival that was offered to the Lord. So this is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, how there was lot of interaction between the human beings, the administrative gods, the demigods, the Supreme Lord, and these things were not based on their mind, their speculation. They were all following the system of worship. So we should have obligation to the sun, to the moon, to the devatas who are supplying us food. So that's how there is a relationship with the whole nature. Human beings had relationship with nature. Every day morning, once they get up, they used to take bath and they used to chant prayers to the sun god for giving sunlight. They used to offer water, they used to offer prayers. The day used to start like that. Not like present day, like we get up late in the morning, spending late night with our mobile in hand, up to the late night pressing. We don't know when to stop until your mind becomes disgusted, until your eyes, your hands, what you are holding mobile, it gets a pain, until your body by itself closes your eyes and becomes so exhausted, you cannot give up. So today's festival and the ancient festivals are like hell and heaven, so much of difference. In the Bhagavad Gita it is said, for a realized person, what is day? That is night for a people who are in darkness. Just like the early they get up and they do their yoga, their meditation, their chanting, their worship. They do early in the morning, 1.5 hours before sunrise. That's called Brahma Muhurta time. Any spiritual activity, good activities are performed early in the morning. By the time person who has kept mobile in hand and slept late in the night, he will be sleeping deep in the sticking to his bed. It is not early morning for him, it is midnight for him, early morning. By the time he gets up, our spiritual activities are almost complete, our sadhana is complete, practices are complete. And the transcendentalist, he goes to his work, does his karma yoga, does his duties whole day, and he goes to the bed early. Yukta ahara viharasya, they also eat. Not that you are a spiritualist means you will close your nose and close your mouth, you will not eat, you will not breathe. No, everybody has to eat, but it's according to what nature they are eating. People in the mode of goodness, they have a healthier habits, they consume good food, sattvic food, which improves their memory, intelligence. People in passion, they take food, too much of spices or food which are violent to others. So such kind of food actually brings pain to the intestine. They cannot digest, and even if they have to evacuate, there is a lot of pain. there are food in the mode of passion. And there are food in the mode of ignorance, where there are stale food, spoiled food, and they are made for a long time. They are kept dry for few days, and that they consume it. So people who are in the mode of ignorance, what they eat, that will be different. And people who eat in the mode of goodness, they will be different. So their festivals also will be different. So for a person of a mode of goodness in the Vedic culture, their festivity starts early in the morning. And these people, that time they are sleeping. And in the night, where the spiritualist sleeps, that is the time for them. It's an active day in the night. And their festivities, what is their festivities? Drinking alcohol, association with wrong people, bad habits. See, is this culture? Modern culture? They say it's modern culture. So our festivals bring people to a higher consciousness. The Vedic festivals bring people to higher consciousness. Whereas what we say Happy New Year, and they drink alcohol and move around in the streets wearing either half dress or no dress or some torn dress, and consider that as advancement, that is not festival. It neither gives joys to themselves nor people around them. That's why we hear crime news. When a person in a mode of ignorance, darkness, they try to enjoy, they try to celebrate, it is always creating violence on others. Police are behind them, the cops are roaming around behind them, that they don't do harm to others. But in our culture, during festivities, there is charity. The guests are invited. There are special food which are made, which nice sweets and savories, and there is so nice mood created with nice music and special dance, cultural dances, which is soothing to the heart. Relatives come together, friends come together, they speak good topics which are considered to be pleasing to the heart. They glorify the Lord. There was Harikatha. Previously there was Harikatha during any ceremony. They used to discuss Ramayana, Mahabharata. So these were the things which were making joy in culture. So just a part of agriculture which turned uncivilized people, even according to the modern definition, uncivilized people to civilized modern men, started with agriculture. Right now, after thousands of years of civilization, what we are considered to be advanced, we are not getting 100, 200 years back what our ancestors were enjoying. Good food. Such unfortunate situation. We are having mass production. Yes, such a nice mass production. Beautifully labeled products, packets are printed and given. But inside that, if you see what is there, you are having colors, food grade colors. Who is giving the food grade? The food grade is also given by an agency which is supporting business entrepreneurs or people who are industrialists who want to make money. So what they will support you? Just like we are hearing that if the food colors what they are using, they are so harmful, it can create cancer. previously there used to be some medicinal, some food which were given before during festivals. Some bitter food was given. That bitter food with bitter leaves were given to show how joy, how happiness and bitterness are together in the life. Even while they are taking bitter food, there was a philosophy behind it to teach happiness and distress. That is philosophy. But when it touches the tongue and it goes within the body, it is to give nutrition to the body. It is to reduce gas, create fire, Agni, and then you could consume good food. Because all festivities they used to make food with nice kheer and ghee made sweets, and also if you eat you may get some stomach problem. So they had solution for it later. You can take this variety of juice, or they will give you some bitter gourd, some sabjis, some nice curries they make and give, which will later subside that fire and help you for digestion. Today's food colors, after you eat, you get cancer, heart problems. From agriculture to industrial culture, what have we advanced? We used to get nice rice, white rice, special rice we used to get. Now we get rice, we polish it, again polish it. You are forced to take some items which you don't like, but that's the only thing available in the market. So we call it a special rice. They make the rice, they put it with some proteins and vitamins, and they say that this is right now very enriched with minerals, so you can take this. So these kind of special products are released. Naturally there was good taste in the rice, wheat and other millets. What we take, millets were so common in villages. Right now there are millet society, National Institute of Millets, because right good food is not available. Rice, wheat, they require a lot of organic waste, but millets, even without that, without much water it grows. So right now millets are considered to be healthy and they are promoted. 100, 200 years back, 300 years back, there was no promotion required for any food. Every farmer knew what is good for his body, what is good during a season. They were not educated in any formal science, agricultural science institutes, but they were much healthier, much pure in their actions. They were benevolent, they were charitable. They had any festivals, they used to call people and they used to distribute grains. This is our culture of India. Every festival they make so much of special items and they give it with love. Their relatives come, they give it love, they share love. Not that they share alcohol, they share cigarettes, and one relative is thinking, how can I kill this fellow? He is having more wealth than me. But externally you shake hands, thank you sir, how are you, very nice. After that they are keeping hatred in the heart. There is culture. The just small agriculture, they had a simple living. They had a simple living, but a very high thinking. The Vedic culture was based on agriculture only. That was economy of not only India, all of the world. The moment factory culture started, we are producing tires to go on the road. What you are not, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Annat bhavanti bhutani. You require food for sustaining. If you see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers, they thought the highest way of culture is for culturing our consciousness by reciting the names of the Lord, by reading the Vedic literatures and purifying ourselves. Not only they taught this, when our Acharya Srila Prabhupada, he went all over the world, he taught people, he made communities how to grow your own food. Self-sustainability. He taught how you can have your own milk, how you can be peaceful. After doing agriculture, you have sufficient grain and you have sufficient milk, you are having your own clothing. What else do you require? You require peace of mind. You require good friendship, relationship. You require transcendental knowledge that after finishing this life, I will die. So even while dying, when I leave this body, yam vapi smaran bhavam. Can I remember smaran bhavam? Can I remember the Lord while I am dying? Yam vapi smaran bhavam. Tejantante kalevaram. When I am dying, can I remember the name of Lord and go back to that Parampadam, the Supreme Lord? Can I go back? This is what is our culture. Not that morning to night you are working, day and night. There is competition and your project manager is asking why you are not still completed your project. One project gets over, after that one more project will come. In one project you will be very happy. People may acknowledge you, they may appreciate you. Some project may not at all be interesting. There are challenges even for people who have power. It's not only for project managers or people who are working. There are challenges for industrialists. Sometimes they run, their products become very successful. Sometimes they are told you are not being able to give a good or right product. It's a failure. For politicians, some schemes become very successful. Sometimes people keep on blaming. Their party falls down. This problem is not there only in lower planets, even in higher planets. Hiranyakashipu, he went and captured Indra's kingdom. So in the material world, either you go to Swarga, Naraka, everywhere you are suffering. That's how the Devatas in higher planet, it is said in Bhagavatam, when they have little more punya, and they know about spirituality, because in the higher planet more enjoyment, that means after more enjoyment there is more suffering. So who are pious, they go to higher planets, but who try to get more spiritual activity, they start understanding, my punya will get over and again I have to take birth. So if I take birth, if I can take birth in Bharata, in Bharata Varsha, there it is Punya Bhumi. It is a Karma Bhumi where I can do activities to elevate myself to the spiritual world, Parampadam. I don't have to come back to this world. This is real culture. Not that you keep on struggling, like in the higher planets there is more enjoyment. So the industrialists, they work very hard and they want to go to higher planets by going to moon expedition, Mars expedition, and create so much of complexities. There is no trust between family members. There is no trust between community members. There is no trust between one nation to one nation. So what is our culture? Things were so peaceful when they were doing agriculture. Their biggest problem was rain. How rain will come? Yagnat bhavati parjanyam. Parjanyat annasambhava. Parjanya is rainfall comes by yajna. What is this yajna? Yajna means satisfying the creator of nature. This whole nature is controlled. It's automatically running. People think everything is automatic. Nothing comes by chance. It's not that by chance you got your father and mother and by chance you are going on. Karmana daiva netrena jantur dehar upapadyate. For every action what you are doing is equal and opposite reaction. So Newton's law also. For every action you are doing. So if you are a very pious soul, you are having a pious father and mother, it is not happen accidentally. And whatever we are doing in this world, harm to others, that will also not be accidental. Next life, you have to bear the consequences. You may not even get proper food. Today you may be looking very beautiful. Tomorrow it's not necessary that you are beautiful. Today you may be charming people. Today you will be very educated. You are very proud about your education. Oh, I am so great. I can get so many things from my brain. But tomorrow you may not be able to understand even what is 2 plus 2, 2 into 2. I don't know. You cannot say. So don't be proud about your temporary intelligence. This is what our culture teaches. Our culture teaches through our festivals. We learn so many things. Every festival has a story. Janmashtami as a pastime, how Krishna came to the earth. Vijayadashami, there is a festival. Rama Vijayadashami, Lord Ramachandra, he defeated Ravana. So when we remember, oh, Lord Ramachandra killed Ravana, what does that mean? So they have a festivity. They make a huge image of Ravan, Kumbhakarna, and they keep an arrow and they fire it. So how evil cannot win over this world? There is a message behind every festival, and they share joy. So our modern education, if it is getting limited too much to sophistication and not giving real happiness to people, then we are not a growing civilization. This kind of civilization have to end. It cannot be progressive. Why it has an end? Why agriculture was sustainable civilization? Our Vedic civilization, through agriculture, and not only agriculture, our agriculture is a starting, it's only producing food. By culturing their consciousness through Vedic knowledge, through celibacy, they used to maintain brahmacharya. The meditation which was taught in the Vedic civilization was with celibacy. So this celibacy used to make people so bright, so much memory they had, they don't require computers. During Britishers' time, two Britishers, they were fighting each other at the banks of Benares, at the banks of Ganges. So one person, when they were fighting each other, they became so angry. So he went and almost beat him, and he spoke very vulgar, bad words. So this one was a senior officer of the British government, and one more was a junior officer. So one person charged another person, and they filed in the court. So when the person, they both came to the court, so the judge, it came to the jury. So the judge asked, so what happened? So he told, sir, he used a very nasty language, used bad words against me. So I had to do this, I had to fight back and whatever is it. So he asked, Is there any evidence? What is the proof? So he thought over, he said, sir, I had one Indian priest who was actually worshipping water in the banks of the Ganges. I can bring him. So the next day they took him to the court, and the magistrate asked him, do you remember what these both people were arguing? Did he speak like this? Did he use these bad words? So this priest told, I don't understand their language because I am not, that is not my mother tongue, nor I interact with them. But I can say you what they spoke. Because this Brahmin was meditating and praying to Ganges, and whatever he heard, he repeated exactly like a tape recorder. And judgment was given. So they were so sharp by their memory, their memories were so sharp, he doesn't know the language, but each word he repeated exactly what the Britishers or those people are talking in English language. He repeated it. So they were Shrutidaras, their memories were so sharp. In the Western world, they are making few videos on Indians, some bloggers, how Indians are so sharp in mathematics. They are asking them some trigonometric equations, some by the root to the root power of what happens. They are asking about calculus. Certain equations they are asking, and the Indian students, even if they are not very advanced in mathematics, they are able to give answers to them, like what is 200 into 725. Easily an Indian can say. What is 125 into 125? Now they require to have calculator. For small equations, they require calculator. What is, how much percentage is required for, what is 75% of 2,75,000? They have to immediately think, oh, what it happens. Immediately they can give ordinary Indian student of 8th standard, he will give all this with, in his fingertips he has his answers. So they are getting surprised. How come Indians have such special brains? You see how in India we always promote ourselves with we are religious people, but we don't know how this religious nature, our good culture has given us a lot of benefits. These are only side effects. The real culture is you are able to take up a higher consciousness. That's the real culture, that is the real boon of Indian people. That is there in their blood, it is there in the DNA, to do good for others. How to do good for others? You teach them the same consciousness what you have practiced, what your great Indian Vedic culture was giving you. What is that? Paropakara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has given a special boon and he has ordered all the Indians, whoever have taken birth in India, Bharata Bhumi, Janma, whoever has taken Janma, what they have to do, whoever have taken birth in India, Janma Sarthaka Kari. First make your life perfect. Not that I want to go and help others, I claim I am a great person, and after that I am not even able to help others. Why? Because you are not able to help yourself. A person is drinking 100 cigarettes every day, and he has to tell others, oh friend, please give up cigarettes. How can they give up? First of all, you should not be a smoker to say others to give up smoking. You may say artificially, oh please give up smoking, but it will not have much effect. So the real Indian culture, starting with agriculture and its festivals, had so much of meaning. And they were so rich in their heritage, in their dance, in their music, in everything they were advanced. Now I told you how we don't even have proper food. Our food is mixed with food colors. If you see the ingredient list, we can't make out which is vegetarian and which is non-vegetarian. Even on chips packets, there are a lot of, they say some flavors added and there are some numbers next to it. I24 or I like that. If you go to the Google it, you go to the net and browse it, actually there are, sometimes it is, they say admitted colors. They are sometimes having gelatin. What is gelatin? Gelatin is some product which is produced from a pig intestine. And all our children, when they take nice soft toffees, gel one, most of the jelly chocolates, they have gelatin. Ice creams have gelatin. So the vegetarian parents, they will be thinking, I am giving vegetarian products to children. You are sorry, sir. You are not giving vegetarian to your children. You are giving only non-vegetarian. You know it is non-vegetarian and you eat, doesn't matter. But you really don't know it is non-vegetarian, you are giving them non-vegetarian food. Even the tasty food, what you think you are eating, they say butter masala, some chats, or they say butter on something, there is no butter at all in it. So such a degraded present society we are leading, where the nutritionists, they are saying that you don't get good food, means you have to boil the water and take, you have no good water to drink. Most of the spices, they are also mixed with some agents for keeping it for more days. So we should go back to our real agricultural days, with real festivities, real culture. That is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, that how you have to follow properly. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita that you have to become a real leader. Who is a leader? Leader means, it is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, whatever action is performed by a great man, common men follow in his footsteps. And whatever standard he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. It's the famous shloka, Yadyat acharati shreshta, Tattat evataro janaha, Sayat pramanam kurute, Lokastat anuvartate. Anuvartate means the world follows them. So this is applicable to the school teachers. It's everything, the greatest leaders start with teacher. The first teacher is mother and father in the house. They teach them how to lead their life. So it's important the parents don't smoke in front of teenagers. They don't misbehave. Husband and wife don't misbehave each other as parents, as father and mother, so that the children will not be influenced by their rajasic and tamasic activities. They think that now I am drinking alcohol, especially in the modern way. The teenage boy is not allowed to take alcohol because there are some regulations in the Western world, but he can sit with a father who is taking alcohol. So he is waiting After a few years, I will become an alcoholic. And what is thought is, you can take little alcohol, it is good for health. You can take one cigarette, that's all right for fashion. And these are becoming acceptable even for Indians. Indians are feeling, oh, we are not advanced, we are also advanced. So we can also take little alcohol, that's all right. So in cities, girls, boys, old people, young people, they all can come together and smoke, have alcohol. So if you say this is not good for health, this is not advancement, in tradition it is not allowed, oh, we reject the tradition because we are very advanced, we want to take cancer, we will die with cancer, doesn't matter, but we are very advanced, we are very modern. So is this what we are learning from our science? That we all have to come together and have some so-called festival party and die fast. So this is not what a leader should be teaching. A real teacher is, he should perform activities like in the Vedic literature, it is mentioned, karmannaiva samsiddhim. You can get samsiddhim, you can get perfection, like how Janakadyaha, we have heard in Ramayana, Mother Sita, her other name was Janaki. In Vedic life, every name, the father name, like there was Mother Kunti, her father, from her father she got the title Pritha. And her son Arjuna, he is called as Partha. There are names of how you can recognize just by their father names, children name also. So Mother Sita, she is called even now as Janaki because of her father name being Janaka. Mother Ganges is called Jahnavi because of accepting the Maharshi Janu as her father when she passed out from his ears. So every name, everything has a significance in Vedic life. Lord Krishna, our Lord, he is called as Vasudeva because he is son of Vasudeva. So coming back to our topic, Janakadayaha, they are giving example how even kings like Janaka and others attain perfectional stage by performance of prescribed duties. Everybody have their prescribed duties. A king has to do his duty. A doctor has to do his duty. A Vaidya means a person who is always wanting to help the person's health without expecting remuneration. There were Raja Vaidyas. They used to be always treating the king also. So they were never thinking, okay, I will now open a big hospital, then more people will come to me. They used to always desire freedom from disease for the whole society. Post COVID-19, the health workers are appreciated and are really to be appreciated. But we should not just appreciate them by creating diseases by ourselves and putting our other people into trouble, putting them into long time hours without their family. They are troubled so much without food and nobody to help them, and they are dying. They are also dying. People who have to get benefit, The corrupted people will anyway use every opportunity to take money. Real hard-working people, even though they are doing their duties, because of this wrong culture, factory culture, what we have started, so-called modernization, so-called stylishness, everything is a style nowadays. You tear your pant, that has become a style. In early 19th century, when Charles Chaplin movies were made, one story was given about him, how he was sitting in a park and some children tied something to his pant, and when he got up it tore, and he went for a dance, and when he went for a dance, he was moving around and people were all laughing, and then he told, this is a fashion. Then everybody else also went and tore their back pant, and it became a fashion. So Srila Prabhupada told this story, how in the modern world anything can be told as fashion. Now this was in 19th century, early days it was a joke when Charles Chaplin was doing this. But now it's really a fashion. It's really a fashion where people actually nowadays, they don't understand when the tone jeans and all are given, they really, it's a fashion. And they say, how when tore pants are there, that is not real fashion, they really tone fashion. I mean, suppose your jeans pant gets torn, that is not called fashion. But if the factory people tear and send, that is fashion. So this is what our cinema leaders, our industrial leaders are teaching. This is not what Janakadyaha, Janaki's father, Sita, Mother Sita's father, that was not their perfection. As a king, it is his duty of not doing any harm to others, trying to collect tax only as much as it is required. The kings were so pious that if the farmer doesn't have a crop, he will not collect anything from him tax. What was the tax? His tax was, suppose you get 100 bags of rice, you have to give 10 bags to the king's treasury. Not that everybody have to, there was no currency. It was barter system. So person who has whatever they have, they will give that to the king's treasury. And the king in turn will be giving everything back to the society. So he was a real father. Kings were like parents. They were not thinking how to make more money in my treasury. But in the modern civilization, what will happen? That's already mentioned in Bhagavatam, lot of Puranas, that in Kali Yuga, what will happen? There will be only tax. So what will happen? Gacchante girikananam. The people will become so disgusted that they will run away to the forest. Why? Already they are having no proper crops, no proper milk, no proper food. In spite of that, they will be taxed. That is how Kali Yuga is, this age is. They will be put into more and more troubles. So a king has to do his duty. So previously they used to do Janakadyaha. Janaka, he became perfected by doing his duties. That he did his karma properly. So the leaders who are doing Yadyat Acharati Shreshtaha, who are Shreshta, who are respectable leaders, Srila Prabhupada, whenever he used to meet scientists, philosophers, scholars, politicians, he used to every time say them, this, please do your duty. What is the duty? Not to mislead people. You see, advertisements are given. You take this Complan, Bonvita, whatever, you become very healthy. But if you see the ingredients, it will be filled with sugar. There is no nutrient in it. If you see any kind of energy drinks, 90% of the energy drinks doesn't give you energy. So it is cheating. So 90% of the shampoos and soaps which says that you will become beautiful by applying it, if you apply it continuously for 1 year, 2 years, you will get more skin infections. So this is cheating. So the leaders means they should not mislead or cheat the general public. The scientists, they are bewildered by the creation. They know what is actually the higher truth. They don't speak about it to the general mass of people. They only talk technology. They never speak truth, the higher truth. After COVID-19, when they are not able to find out, the WHO, they are not able to find out basic solutions. And these solutions are so easily available in our culture. In the University of Atlanta and few more universities, they did research after COVID-19 and found out how turmeric is one of the agent which can fight against infections, and it's very useful during COVID-19 crisis. So in our Vedic culture, we use cumin seeds, we use turmeric as part of our recipes. They are part of our menu. In our lot of cooking, we use these ingredients. So the Vedic knowledge, you don't have to keep it in such a way that only if I go to college and make it into a big university studies, that is actually education. So the real scientists, they acknowledge this fact that the Vedic knowledge, the Indian knowledge, included everything. The Ayurveda has solution for many diseases, not only of the past, of the present, even modern diseases also they have solutions. But because it is not being given certification by the modern pharmacy companies or modern medical colleges, they have not given certification. That's why it is considered to be that it is not advanced medicine. So you have to wait, you have to go through the difficult times, you are forced to take some medicines which are invented by people who are wanting more money from people by putting them into trouble, by greedy people. So this kind of civilization is considered as advanced civilization, and in the Vedic civilization they had solution for everything, starting with agriculture, self-sustainability, good peaceful life, and for every disease not to increase, they had solutions. Even in their food, daily food intake itself, they were becoming very healthy, and they could remember God at every circumstances and go back to the Lord finally. So this spirituality is a goal of even festivals in India. You see how sublime is our Vedic culture, and we think it's only filled with blind beliefs because that is the way it is propagated, and that's the kind of people who are talking about it. If you want gold, you have to go to the real people who give gold. So the Bhagavad Gita is a valuable book of instructions. It is real gold. So if you can speak from it, hear from it, and repeat from it, even as laymen, we can get the same benefit. Instead of getting misled by foolish propaganda, modern propaganda, or some cheaters in the name of religion, they speak so much of nonsense, and that is considered to be as spirituality, as Indian culture, and this is misleading the whole world. It's very unfortunate. So let us make a vow to take up this Bhagavad Gita message and give what is real festivals of India. Hare Krishna. Jai Jagannath.